bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, this week I fell into a serious depression because of a loss of faith in humanity, for lack of a better word. I teach at a community college, and I love my job, and I actually I can't really say anything Peter dislike about the job there, but the circumstances there are a whole nother story. Holiday seasons are really tricky for me because of my difference in status. So most of my colleagues want to spend time with their kids. Some of them have aging family members, and as a result, I'm often left to fill in for all of my colleagues, which is great. I love mingling with the other students there, but it really shows the dichotomy in treatment, right? Because there are other things that, as a solosexual, are near and dear to me. I talked about how this past week there was a unofficial holiday that I wish I could have taken off, right? And last week or 2 weeks ago when I went to see the solar eclipse, even though I had a great time, I so much wish I could have had an extra day off. The trip was a little bit hectic because I didn't have extra time. To give you an idea how hectic it was, I arrived in Albuquerque the night before at 2 in the morning, and I was so worried I would oversleep. So I pulled into a gas station, and I looked at the window. It said they're going to be open at 7 a.m., which is around the time I wanted to wake up. And I decided to park horizontally across several handicap spots because I knew when the employees got there, they would angrily pound on my window to see what was going on. And so that's how I decided to sleep, so that I wouldn't oversleep. Turned out a police officer came by at 4 in the morning because he thought I was drunk or had some kind of medical emergency. And when I explained to him that I needed somebody, and I thanked him for waking me up because I was so worried I would, even though I only got 2 hours of sleep, I was still better than nothing. And my first response was to thank him because obviously I didn't want to cause trouble. Hey, thanks for waking me up. And which puzzled him for a moment until I explained the events of the next day. He didn't even know there was a solar eclipse. And he was like, too bad I don't get to take the day off. And so that was good. But that's not my ideal way of taking a vacation, obviously, right? I so much wish I could have left the day before, maybe sightsee a little bit, find an Airbnb or a motel and sightsee a little bit, network with the locals there. I so much would have preferred to do it that way, right? And meanwhile, I see my colleagues take their kids trick-or-treating on Halloween, which is a beautiful thing, by the way. That's not the complaint. The complaint is that why doesn't it get done both ways, right? It angered me so much that I decided to try and job hop a little bit. Unfortunately, I've been job hopping a lot over trivial or over things that could be solved in a better way. That's why my resume is 3 pages long, right? I get angered by these little details easily, and so I talked to several associates of mine over in Seattle, and as I was interviewing for this other college, teaching position at this other college in the Seattle area, I quickly remembered that they still have daylight wasting time. Sorry, I get very emotional about daylight wasting time because I feel like politicians are playing God with people's lives and their health. I mean, last time I checked, daylight wasting time contributes to car accidents, it contributes to heart attacks. I'll let you do the research on that. I don't think politicians should play God. I really don't. I mean, if you like the idea of going to work at a different time during the summer, do it. But don't push it on other people, right? And I became really depressed when I remembered that Seattle still had daylight wasting time. And then I went to my favorite board game meetup to try to take my mind off of that. I so badly wanted to play Ticket to Ride Berlin. Ever since I bought a copy of that game earlier this year, I have not found too many people willing to play and I've only played 2 times. And in fact, when I finally finish my AI for the game, that will probably be the extent of my experience, right? Playing against my own AI, which unfortunately has been my experience for a lot of games, not just Ticket to Ride Berlin. And yesterday I waited over 2 hours for these jokers to finish their, I think it was Terraforming Mars or something. And when they finished it, I thought they were going to play Ticket to Ride. They decided to start a different game altogether. And I'm very upset. I'm going to confront them later tonight, actually. There's another event. And ask them, why didn't you tell me that you had no intentions of playing? I waited 2 hours, and you could have told me at the get-go. I could have done something else with the evening and see what they say to me. I'm not afraid to lose these friends, so that's why I can do that. I am afraid to lose my job at Phoenix College. That's why I haven't been able to confront any of these people for their injustices, right? And, I'm going to have to think of a way to talk to my chairperson. Every time I get into a meeting with her, we quickly drown in other subjects, and the idea of taking time off never gets brought up. I'm thinking this week during my class, I build a lot of rapport with a lot of my students. Maybe talk about, I wish I could have some time off, and see if that will filter its way up, right? I don't know. Because I never get every time I go to my chairperson's office, we're drowning in ways that we could work with these students, which is great. I never get too many complaints. I mean, suggestions, yeah, but the subject of taking time off gets quickly drowned away by all of this. I don't know if anybody has ever ran into this at work, right? I'm thinking during casual conversations, not only with my students, but with my colleagues, man, I so much wish I could have taken time during Halloween or something like that. You're so lucky. And see if it filters its way up, right? That's going to be my goal going into November. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum, 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum, 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 bum.